Welcome back to the channel, all my free thinkers. Guys, I have a belief, and I've always had this belief. Those of you who've been subscribed to Grow Rich, Grow Happy for some time now, you already know I believe in doing research. And not only in doing research, I believe in knowing why you hold an asset in your wallet. It's not good enough for me to go out, see different crypto influencers, or hear some of these company execs or something talk about why their projects are the top tier, why they should be considered. That's not enough for me. I need to know what makes your project stand out. And not only why it stands out, but why should I choose your project over something else? Well, in this video, I aim to do just that. Guys, I've been sitting back and, you know, with all of the buzz about Zebec network, I always like to dig a little bit deeper, because for all of my subscribers here, I want you to understand what you're holding, because only then will you continue to either buy it or decide if it's something for you, and if that long-term vision is there for you, and if you have the patience to hold it. So we're going to be exploring the Zebec network's secret weapon, and we're going to be comparing that secret weapon to something that the US already has right now that's ramping up, called FedNow. That's what we're going to be talking about. Guys, this is your first time here to Grow Rich, Grow Happy. I'm Mr. Foresight, and it's my job to look ahead for you so that I can help you understand what a beautiful and fruitful future can look like for you and your family if you just put in a little bit of time, effort, and patience when it comes to cryptocurrency. Guys, do me a favor, smash that like button, give me a subscribe. As always, share these videos with a loved one, friend, someone that can use the opportunity. I noticed a lot of you down in the comments lately been saying, you know, my brother sent me your videos, or this person said something about your videos. Also, I want to shout out DHN Crypto for shouting me out last week on his Zebec Crypto. Awesome channel, DHN Crypto. Guys, check him out. The brother does a lot of deep research, and I love that. But anyway, so this is what we're going to be talking about. Let's just get straight to it, guys. Oh, by the way, just got to tell you, let you know what my numbers are now. I'm over 3 million. I'm holding over 3 million Zebec now. So I'm feeling real good. Zebec is doing really good right now. I think it's up 6.3% right now. We just got 1-0 to knock down, guys. I see this as really just one of those long-term plays that's going to be here. And if you caught my XRP video where I was comparing XRP and Zebec from their earlier stages, you see why I'm really bullish. It'll be at the end. I'll put it at the end for you guys. But let's talk. So let's talking about Zebec and where they are now. And I did something too to help you guys see it, because I understand we got a lot of beginners here, and I want you to see what I see. So I can't mention what Zebec has going on without mentioning FedNow. FedNow is the federal government's sort of like almost like their payroll process, and it doesn't really interact with blockchain. It's separate from blockchain, although those of you who follow XPR network and follow Metallicus, you know they are they're like the only crypto blockchain that is working with FedNow. But so they're working with them, but it's some things with FedNow that has to be pointed out. And the biggest thing I have to make you guys understand is that FedNow is centralized. Is a centralized network, and you have Zebec, which is decentralized. Now, depending on where you live in the world, you might prefer one over the other. But what I'm going to be talking about this time really is the secret weapon that Zebec has that competes, really, I think it's competing with FedNow, and that is the Nautilus network. Their Nautilus blockchain, shall I say. Well, this Nautilus blockchain is what enables Zebec to do and work their magic. It is built for scalability, and this is why they have it, so that it can give you those fast and accurate transactions that you're looking for. Well, FedNow, when you come to FedNow, they have something like that as well, except they work closely with a lot of banks and credit unions. To date, they have as of today, I believe over 100 that they're working with, and more is coming on board. But the one drawback to them is they don't work with all banks yet. Everybody is not on board, although they're trying to get everyone on board. And I think that's the biggest difference between them and, say, a Zebec network, because these guys, Zebec is really, really moving. But I think the thing that stands out to a lot of people, especially in the US, if you're based here in the US, a lot of people might prefer FedNow because, let's just face it, a lot of people either don't trust crypto or they don't understand crypto. So they want something that can give them that instantaneous account to account transactions, maybe something that they can feel like is safe, and they're not going to get scammed because they know something like the federal government has crossed their T's and dotted their I's. Therefore, they're very compliant. So people don't really worry when it comes to FedNow. That's why I can see a lot of people in the United States really liking the way it works, because you don't have to worry about being scammed. And that's one of the biggest things. However, and that's what makes them centralized as well. But the reason crypto was made, and this is the point I have to make, the reason crypto was made is because you have a lot of these outliers out here, a lot of these countries, and that's the thing too. FedNow only operates in the United States, where you have Zebec that operates globally. I'm getting somewhere with this. Bear with me. So here's the thing. A lot of people, the reason crypto is so fascinating is because there are countries out there. A lot of people in the United States don't know what it feels like not to have a bank, or not to be able to hold your funds in a bank and maybe have a debit card. There's a lot of countries out there that don't have that. Hence, a Zebec is the answer to their prayers, or cryptocurrency, DeFi, is the answer to their prayers. This is where Zebec shines the brightest, because you can do it bankless. That's why people prefer decentralized things. So the thing with Zebec is they are offered globally, and as you know, they're based here in the United States. So you have something like FedNow, and let's face it, even though a lot of US, probably 80%, would prefer something like that, you got to realize crypto is making its way on the scene. It is not slowing down at all. What do you think is going to happen with Zebec? See, with the federal government and the FedNow system, they are already ISO 10022 compliant. But it almost makes me believe or feel like, especially after the research I was doing, that Zebec is really kind of competing with these guys in a way, because while these guys work with these banks and credit unions and different things, and they're ISO compliant, Zebec has goals to be ISO compliant as well by year's end. So can you imagine that? Them being compliant right here in their own backyard. And that means that puts them right there with FedNow. Actually, and the problem why they can't really work together is because to date right now, there's no way through third party Zebec could probably integrate a little bit with FedNow. But that's the only way they'd be able to do it. There's no other way. So I feel like, especially with their partnership with Stellar and the whole cross-border payments, these guys are really plotting. They're sitting back and they're showing me as an investor, and hopefully they show you too, why they are going to be so dominant. Now, here's another thing I want to show you. I came up with this I kind of made a spreadsheet because I was breaking down the differences between the two. And these is something I want you guys to check out right quick. Check this out. So here we go. We got the FedNow service, and we got the Zebec Nautilus chain. So their chain, I told you, that is their secret weapon. That is everything. And then you throw in the Wage Link app, which makes all of this possible for everyday employees to get their money directly on that day. So I told you one of the drawbacks to FedNow is that FedNow, they're not offered by all banks. And if you don't believe me and think that people are looking for something that they can use and get their money right away, just look at the Venmos, look how Zelle was, look at Cash App, look how people are doing person to peer to transfer money. A lot of the ads and different things you might see on Facebook garage sale, they'll say we accept Cash App, we accept Venmo, so you can get your money right away. But FedNow, you can't really do that with across the board, where I believe that's why I believe Zebec is going to shine the hardest. But check this out. So we already covered that FedNow is a centralized instant payment rail. Check this out though. Zebec decentralized and their technology non-blockchain. This is the thing right here. I feel like being non-blockchain, then you got something with blockchain, especially with all of these regulations. I keep telling you guys, everything that's changing now with crypto being forced down everyone's throat. I think that's going to be the one problem we have right there, because as time elapses, people are just going to start to trust blockchain even more. You got to realize more Gen Z are the people who are really using crypto and looking to get in crypto. And I got to shout out anybody who's older, like when I say older, 40, 50, maybe late 30s or something, right, 40 and 50 and up, who are using cryptocurrency, because you are basically breaking the mold and you're saying, I'm not getting left behind. It's Gen Zs, I'm right there with you. But I believe that is the big deal. ISO 200 compliant. This is FedNow and Fedline Network. Well, we're blockchain and Zebec is blockchain. Again, they work with these smart contracts, which is just the next coming of technology, and they're Web3. Well, you're going to be able to insert, if things are correct and they continue, and I don't see why they wouldn't become ISO 20022. There, you're going to be able to insert that right here. Now, the purpose, real-time fiat payments for U.S. banks. Now, here's where we shine again. Global, programmable, crypto fiat payments. So what's great about that is you could be somebody who's you want to save some crypto, you want to save some, be paid out in maybe a USDC or maybe some other currency. You'll be able to do that with this with the Zebec Nautilus chain. It makes it where you can do that. You can't do that with FedNow. Speed, instant, and here with Zebec. Now, speed is instant with FedNow service, but that's because you're only dealing with fiat. When you're dealing with over here, near instant, depends on the network. So if you're dealing with maybe a Solana, is super fast. But then again, if you're dealing with something like maybe Bitcoin or maybe Ethereum, it's not going to be as fast. So right there. But again, you're dealing in crypto when you deal with that. Availability 24/7, 365, limited to participating U.S. banks. So FedNow can only deal with U.S. banks, and it's limited because everyone is not rushing to sell up to jump on board. Whereas in right here, the Nautilus chain, you got global. Again, global. This is why I love Zebec, because this is going to make them grow at an even faster rate. And they're open to all with compatible wallets. So really, we got that web links going right now, that web links wallet deal, but they're open to anybody who can use a wallet or any kind of crypto wallet. And I believe as things get a lot easier for crypto, it's just going to be more and more adoption and people coming on board. I can't tell you how many people I've helped and continue to help just in my personal life get on board and get them a crypto wallet. And you got to hear use case for FedNow, account to account transfers, bill pay, payroll. So they can do the payroll stuff too. But again, it's limited. We're streaming payroll, Web3 subscription, DeFi asset swaps. We got a lock. When I say we, I mean Zebec. We have a lock on this whole payroll system and how it's done. Now, here's the thing. transaction limits up to 500,000. We don't have a specific transaction limit. It's just subject to gas fees. Guys, now here's the cost. $25 a month plus you're looking at around 4-cent transfers for banks. Here it's just gas fees. That's it. And then you got access via bank apps and interfaces, direct via blockchain wallets and apps. Guys, we have to understand what we are invested in here when it comes to this. Just seeing what FedNow is doing shows me that they're paying attention to blockchain and what blockchain is doing. And this is not a competition between DeFi and centralization. I feel like it's just dependent on your needs, your knowledge base when it comes to crypto and where you are located in the world. Because if you're in the United States, yeah, you might prefer that. You might prefer FedNow and how they do things, which is why I say we have to diversify. This is why I also hold XPR Network, and they are part of the Metallicus blockchain because they are working with FedNow. So when you are able to diversify, you kind of make sure you don't miss out. You do not miss out. So you want to be able to cater to those in the U.S. And if we're going to be the crypto power of the world, why wouldn't FedNow probably be preferred over here? But we cannot count out Zebec and what they're doing and who they're coming for. They are coming, guys. This whole this being ISO compliant is going to change the game for them. Right now, guys, I feel like, and this is not financial advice, someone asked down and what's a good number to have, and I always say this, and I'm going to answer this question, I'm going to get out of here. What's a good number to have of Zebec or any other crypto? And I feel like to answer that, you have to ask yourself a true question. When it's time to sell and get your profits, are you going to vacate that asset? Are you going to vacate it, or do you want to vacate some profits and keep some there for the road ahead, because it's only going to continue to go up? And for me, I'm the second. I want to always leave some money on the table so that I can continue to ride that wave up. So that's why I try to hold 1 million or better of these sub penny assets, because I'm not trying to sell all out of them. I want to keep some on the table for that rainy day, or just in case it goes somewhere that I did not predict. So guys, let me know down below. Do you believe that Zebec is trying to secretly compete with FedNow, or do you believe that they both can operate in the same space? Also, you want to remember this too. Another reason people might prefer decentralization over centralized is you don't really have to know your customer. They don't have all of those hangups. When you're dealing with something like the federal government, they want to know your blood type. They want to know all of that. But when you're dealing with a Zebec, and you can already see with their carbon card, there is no KYC. You don't have to know who I am. But if you start getting like their black card, that is a KYC. So let me know down below. What do you think? Can they occupy the same space, or do you just prefer Zebec? And if so, what part of the world do you live in? To the next one, this your boy. I'm out.